very soon, we should be able to return our economy to as close to normalcy as we can.
Even with Prime Minister Andrew Holness's confidence, you have a big part to play in all of this. It means maintaining the COVID-19 protocols, wearing a mask while in public, practicing social distancing, washing hands frequently, or using a hand sanitizer. We are in this together. Let's recover stronger, smarter, and better.
Small businesses like mine continue to serve the needs of people.
We all play a part in keeping the wheels of our economy turning, and we do so responsibly.
We are building forward
together.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, June 17, 2021. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has given instructions for a Zone of Special Operations, ZOSO, to be in operation in Norwood, St. James. Mr. Holness issued the declaration Sunday, arguing that the community continues to be characterized by increased gang-related violence and criminal activities.
Since the beginning of the year, 15 murders and 14 shootings have occurred. Since 2019, within that community, there has been recorded 66 murders. But more disturbingly, there are 6 gangs known to be operating within that very small space. And those gangs, though they are based in that area, operate all over St. James.
The Prime Minister says the ZOSO is expected to bring peace to the community and provide an opportunity for the area to turn a new leaf. Norwood is the latest community to benefit from the Clear, Hold, Build model, which is aimed at improving citizen security and quality of life for Jamaicans. Already, ZOSOs are in place in Mount Salem, St. James, Denham Town in Kingston, and Greenwich Town and August Town in St. Andrew. Meanwhile, the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, has received 120 new vehicles and motorcycles from the Ministry of National Security. 47 Mitsubishi L200 pickups and 73 bikes, valued at over $186 million, were formally handed over at the Police Commissioner's office last Friday. Minister of National Security Dr. Horace Chang says the 47 pickups have boosted the JCF's operational fleet to 65%. They will be deployed to boost the general JCF divisional fleets island-wide, while the bikes will expand the complement of units in the quick response network. The pickups have been retrofitted with the JCF Smart Check system, which provides officers on patrol with real-time access to critical databases, such as the Inland Revenue Department. This will give them access to details on drivers and vehicles, allowing them to more quickly identify persons of interest, stolen motor vehicles, traffic ticket warrants, and outstanding traffic tickets. In other news, staff and patients at the Maypen and Lioneltown hospitals now have access to over $12 million worth of newly acquired medical equipment and supplies. These include a defibrillator, sanitizers, and other personal protective equipment handed over on Friday. The items were donated by Clarendon's Custos Rotalorum and philanthropist William Shagori. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says the donation represents a partnership for the advancement of public health.
As I look across the room at some of the items, it's clear that it's going to be used for the furtherance of public health, for the equipping and enabling of the Maypen Hospital team, who are a hard-working team.
Jamaica is set to receive additional supplies of COVID-19 vaccine this week. Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Christopher Tufton says that with the new supplies, full resumption of vaccination for all persons due their second dose will begin by the end of the week. Persons with appointments for their second dose on June 21 and 22 have been deferred and are being asked not to visit vaccination sites on these days. They are to await contact from the regional health authorities for details on their new appointment. Vaccination will resume for persons 50 years and older who are due their second dose on Wednesday, June 23. The Health Ministry says persons due to receive their second dose of the vaccine and were deferred can be assured that they are still within the recommended 12 weeks wait period between doses, as prescribed by the World Health Organization. In the short to medium term, Jamaica expects to receive another shipment through the COVAX facility and is to benefit from the 25 million vaccine doses the United States government has earmarked for countries around the world. Distribution of the U.S. vaccines is expected to start by the end of June. In the meantime, the National Health Fund continues to negotiate the purchase of vaccines through other mediums. The St. Catherine High School will have a performing arts center by December. The Chase Fund broke ground for the ground floor of the $49.9 million complex on Friday. The 6,338 square feet space will have a stage area with lighting and sound, a multipurpose seating area for 850 people, male and female restrooms, and dressing rooms. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the center is part of the government's thrust to build modern, purpose-built first world schools which will support the island's development goals.
I am expecting that the academic staff here will craft a cultural program, a performing arts program that will be uplifting, that will be edifying, that will be used to project the pro-social and pro-growth values and attitudes that we need to create the men and women of the society that will see Jamaica move from poverty to prosperity.
And finally, Environment and Climate Change Minister Pernell Charles Jr. says the state will be paying closer attention to the potential loss of biodiversity on the island. This, he says, will be done through the creation of an enabling framework of legislation, policies, and regulations to advance the environment agenda. According to Minister Charles Jr., focus will be placed on landslides caused by deforestation, improper farming methods, and high rainfall intensity.
We're looking on issues relating to severe soil degradation due to fires, overuse of agrochemicals which pollute our groundwater and adversely affect downstream users and all of our marine resources.
The minister was speaking at a recent webinar to commemorate World Environment Day. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it.
No dash no paper, no dash no plastic. Dispose your garbage responsibly. No know how to recycle, learn it quick. And if you drop it, better pick up every piece of it. Plastics last forever, don't forget the bits. Cause when them touch the street, them end up in the sea. Collect pan the reef where they fish them feed. And when you want seafood, I eat your eat.
Keep the island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. No dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica.
Government has been working on policies to improve environmental protection and conservation on the island. This drive has seen a number of private sector entities coming on board. Watch as we highlight the contribution of one of these companies.
Environmental protection is an ongoing preoccupation of the government.
It is a challenge to balance jobs and economic income and growth in the short term and for longer term sustainability. We in Jamaica have had to make tough decisions, but the decisions that we have made ultimately are in the interest of our environment.
That commitment can be seen through the various legislation and policies that have been enacted and implemented. It's all in a bid to maintain Jamaica's healthy natural environment. A major plank of government's environmental stewardship is its introduction of a ban on plastics. Since January 1, 2019, Jamaica has introduced a prohibition on the import, distribution, manufacture, and use of commercial quantities of single-use plastics on a phased basis. There is evidence of buy-in from all sectors of society, which has been bearing fruit. The latest partner in the plastic management drive is Global Anunnaki Tech Enterprise Limited, GATE. Since 2019, the Kingston-based business services, research and product development company, GATE, has been getting involved in environmental protection. With over 5,000 pounds of plastics collected, the company expanded its involvement by staging a recent coastal cleanup and plastic recycling drive along the Palisades Port Royal protected area. With the help of student volunteers, the company collects plastic bottles that are then repurposed by Recycling Partners of Jamaica Limited.
The purpose of doing the cleanups is to keep the country clean, and as well, one of the main reasons to look at recycling. So the reason for the coastal cleanups is to keep the environment clean and think about the environment, because protecting the environment saves lives.
Several Kingston-based schools participated, including Alpha Primary, Augustown Primary, New Providence Primary, Eltham High, Camperdown High, St. Hughes High, and Allman Town Primary.
It is important to create an awareness for especially the schoolers, because they will be the consumers, and they are the consumers of these products, and they will be the one to take care of the environment later on as we go forward.
Together, the small group of masked and sanitized students collected more than 120 pounds of plastic bottles.
Hadn't had the opportunity to actually participate in other extracurricular activities since COVID-19. I decided to participate in local recycling, of course, and it has taught me a lot, such as teamwork, building the environment, giving back, of course, and taking initiatives.
I have to learn to keep it clean, because we're the ones living in it and we're going to get affected in the end.
And there's more to come.
There's a partnership going on with a company in England and some Jamaican sponsors that are looking in towards doing a beautification project for the community of Hermitage and Augustown, the greater Augustown, the entire Augustown. And so I have decided to partner with them and to create one team that will create awareness for everyone. And we're also organizing a community competition, as I mentioned, in order to create full awareness.
Community competitions on recycling and beautification are planned for other communities.
It's very important to continue these cleanups, because if we don't have the safe and clean air to breathe and water to drink, it doesn't make sense. Life will cease.
You too can help the environment by keeping your corner of the rock clean. At home, separate your plastic bottles from your regular domestic waste and drop it off at a recycling site. On the road, resist the urge to discard your plastic bottles anywhere. Keep it until you're able to place it into a garbage receptacle. We all have a part to play. Let's stay true to our National Development Plan by making Jamaica the place of choice to live in a healthy, natural environment.
Did you know that filing a police report after a road crash helps when seeking compensation from your insurer? Find out more about the importance of reporting a motor vehicle crash.
You know how they say accidents do happen, unexpectedly and often unintentionally. Though road safety experts no longer define these unfortunate incidents involving motor vehicles as accidents, they're certainly never intended. Unfavorable weather conditions, objects on the road, your miscalculation while driving, or another driver can cause crashes, even for the best defensive drivers. That's exactly why it's important to know how to respond in these situations. So, what do you do at that exact moment? What should be your next steps? And when and how should you file a police report?
For the number of reports that come to this station, perhaps it's on a basis of about 10 to 15 per day. That's the number of accidents per day. So after a road traffic accident, person should first try to clear the roadway if they are obstructing the traffic for other motorists. Secondly, drivers are expected to exchange vehicle documents, and the documents should include their registration certificate, certificate of fitness, insurance certificate, and your driver's license information. Those are the essential 4 pieces of information that should be provided to both parties after an accident. Contact information is optional, but you have cases where a person tries to settle outside insurance, and that's now a civil matter. It's an agreement between both parties. So if they want to exchange contact information, that's also optional, depending on the intention that they have in terms of fixing the vehicle outside insurance or what.
Your next step? Making a police report about the collision. This is always a good idea. That way you have proof of exactly what happened and the scope of any injuries.
In terms of our approach as police officers for a motor vehicle accident, first, the critical thing is to check for injuries, make sure that persons are okay. If there's a need for persons to be assisted to the hospital for any sort of treatment, we should make sure we render assistance to persons in need of that care first. Secondly, we check for the damage for the vehicles, make sure there is no obstruction along the roadway, and then we can treat with the documents or the exchange of particulars between both parties. After making a report of a motor vehicle accident, the next step that persons are advised to do is to make a report to their insurance company, and that's for another motorist. As it relates to a pedestrian persons who are injured, they are also advised to get the assistance of an attorney to file a personal injury claim against the party that is liable in the accident. For follow-up visits, what we do, we have cases where persons are seriously injured, some of which are not able to make it to the station to give a report in the first instance. So what we try to do, whether the persons are hospitalized, we ensure that visits are made and that the person's conditions are updated as we go along. As we through the investigation, we ensure that the person's conditions are updated along the procedure.
But are you always required to report traffic collisions?
Not in all cases a report must be filed for accidents. We have situations where it could be a very minor mishap. For example, someone could be reversing from their garage, they could bump their gate. So in those cases, it's not necessary for them to make a report. But for other situations involving another motorist, or a case where a pedestrian or a property is damaged, a report is expected to be made, because persons at times are expected to make claims, whether from their insurance company or their attorneys, based on the damage received or the injuries they've sustained.
Reports from the Road Safety Unit shows that up to April 26, 139 lives have been cut short because of road crashes this year, with over 100 of those being males. And for the corresponding period last year, 136 lives were lost in road crashes. On a more global level, studies from the World Health Organization (WHO) show that approximately 1.35 million people die each year as a result of road traffic crashes, and 3% of most countries' gross domestic product is spent on road traffic crashes.
The most common cause of motor vehicle accidents, from my understanding, it's mostly impatience on the part of some of the drivers, and lack of knowledge as to how the roadways should be used. And I also believe the implementation of traffic signs at various areas would also aid the process, because most drivers are not aware of what to do at various parts of the roadway.
In the face of such figures, even the most careful driver can suddenly encounter a bit of bad fortune on the road. You know that saying, decisions can be like car accidents, sudden and full of consequences. So how about making the right decision to be responsible road users today?
On our roads, remember, Take time. Be courteous. Drive good. Walk good. Don't drink alcohol and drive. Don't drive tired or sleepy. Don't tailgate and don't overtake unless it is safe to do so. And always drive at a speed which will allow you time to stop quickly and safely. Let's keep it safe on our roads.
In the market for a house, find out how you can realize this dream through the Housing Agency of Jamaica.
For many, owning a piece of the rock is a major life achievement, and government is acutely aware of this goal. That's why the state has created several entities to give even more Jamaicans greater access to home ownership. One of the agencies leading the charge is the Housing Agency of Jamaica.
Our developments consist of building housing units, providing service lots, regularizing informal communities. So we cover the entire sphere of housing development.
Once the National Housing Development Corporation Limited, the entity has been operating as the Housing Agency of Jamaica HAJ since 2008. Though the focus is primarily on providing affordable housing solutions, the agency has on occasion built housing developments targeting higher income brackets. Why? The HAJ is a self-financing agency of government, so it is responsible for its operational costs. The entity has a proven track record in constructing housing solutions. Among the completed projects are Greater Portmore, Oaklands, College Green, Pines of Karachi, Mona and Portmore Country Club 2. And plans are already in place for other projects to be built across the length and breadth of Jamaica.
We have 772 housing solution development working on in Rhine Park, St. James. It's a mix of 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom housing units, 1-bedroom apartments, townhouses, and 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom houses.
Phase 1 of the project, which consists of 152 units, went on the market in January 2021. There's also the 1,650-unit Catherine Estates housing development in Bernard Lodge, St. Catherine.
Catherine Estate is a development that we are trying our best to see how we can address a serious gap in the market. It's a mix of studio units and 1-bedroom units, so it's what we call starter homes. Because since Greater Portmore, nothing of this nature has been done.
Units range between $6 and $7 million. 475 units in Phase 1 will be ready in March 2021.
We have Mona, which is underway now. We're doing 50 service lots. That's in between Pines of Karachi and Long Mountain. Those 50 service lots were priced at market value.
The HAJ has also been finalizing other housing projects which are slated to come on stream in the year. Among them, Sandown Crescent and Helsher Views in St. Catherine. Environmental permits have been granted and the municipal corporation is now perusing the plans. Sandown Crescent will have 146 townhomes, while the 623 Helsher Views will be a mix of 1, 2 and 3-bedroom units.
We are pretty much advanced in planning a development in Luana, St. Elizabeth, 250 solutions, mix of service lots and units. We are doing 150 units in St. Anne, Runaway Bay area, St. Anne.
And a joint venture agreement is being finalized to deliver 1,200 housing solutions in Montego Bay, St. James.
Currently, we are doing a regularization program in Grange Pen, St. James. That is an informal settlement in excess of 535 solutions. The work is pretty much halfway there. We have gotten some grant funding from the Tourism Enhancement Fund.
The HAJ not only regularizes communities, it also provides land titles for properties that have been regularized. Just recently, 30 households received land titles to properties in Kingston and St. Andrew, as well as Clarendon.
We understand the role that we have to play as a ministry in the improving of the lives and livelihood of our people. And certainly land registration is identified as a major driver of economic growth, but also a very significant benefits flow from having that certificate of title. You will be able to use your title to access loans, to access formal credit.
Developers, you're also included in the HAJ's plans.
As I said, the partner will be responsible for designing, financing and building the project. And then we will take on the aspects of project management, marketing, sales, legal, the conveyancing aspects to deliver to the customer.
So if you're interested in owning a piece of the rock, visit the HAJ website, hajl.gov.jm, and remember,
we are not limited by the fact that persons have to be contributors to NHT, because we recognize that some persons are self-employed and so might not necessarily contribute, but they are able to access a loan from a credit union or another institution. We facilitate those as well.
Practice good hygiene by washing your hands frequently using soap and water. Here's how you should do it while conserving water. Turn on the tap to wet your hands, then turn off the pipe. Lather your hands and the tap with soap. Turn on the tap and wash your hands, back, front, and in between fingers. Use some of the water to wash off the tap, then turn it off. Dry your hands with disposable hand towels. If you don't have running water, use a hand rub containing 62% or more alcohol. If hand sanitizers are not available, rubbing alcohol, Dettol, white rum, or household bleach will do the trick. And if all else fails, let hand washing and the handling of potable water be a two-person event. Each person will take turns pouring and washing hands with sitting water. Now is a good time to consider installing a tap on your containers to reduce the risk of water contamination. Faucets can be easily attached to drums, buckets, or 5-gallon water bottles. And to ensure that the outside of the containers are clean when recapping, disinfect it with hand rub containing alcohol that's 62% or more. The 5 R's of water conservation are also necessary to practice. Reduce water wastage by investing in water-saving devices. Reuse water at least twice before discarding. Replace leaking pipes, faucets, and other plumbing equipment. Recycle wastewater and use it for gardening, car washing, or cleaning of public spaces. And reclaim water through rainwater harvesting. We all must play our part to ensure there's water to combat the coronavirus and stave off prolonged drought.
And that's where we close our program, but only for today. We return tomorrow with another information-packed magazine just for you. Keep up with us at your leisure. Visit our website, download our mobile app, or join us on all the major social media platforms. On behalf of the entire news and production teams here at the GIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thank you so much for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.